In this unit, I want to describe another way that you can link worksheets. This time, however, we're not going to be linking data. We're just going to be providing ways to quickly jump between workbooks, jump between worksheets, and even jump to certain ranges within large workbooks. I'm using the Budget 2013 file that we created in the second lecture, so if you don't have this one, you can open the 2012 file that I have and use that instead, because that one should be fairly complete. What I want to do here is provide a place to generate some hyperlinks. Hyperlinks are just like the links that you use on the internet to jump from one page to another. However, inside of Excel, and for that matter Microsoft Office products, you can create hyperlinks that also jump between documents, that also jump within a document. So I'm going to create a documentation sheet here just to have some place to put this stuff. So I'm going to choose the summary tab and I'm going to copy it. Remember, if you want to move something to the beginning of the list of worksheets, you have to copy it using the create copy feature and then rename it. And just to stay consistent now, I probably should have just inserted a new sheet because I don't need anything in this workbook. So let me delete that. Didn't think about that well enough. Delete that one and simply add a new worksheet. There it is, and pull that over here and call that documentation because I need it to be blank. Okay, and up here I'll just put this normal stuff for documentation. And keep it simple. First thing I want to do is show how to create a link to a website. Right. Easiest way to do that is just insert a hyperlink. There's a couple ways to do this actually. We can insert a hyperlink, or we can insert some text here first and then convert that to a hyperlink by clicking on that button. Really, one way or the other doesn't make a lot of difference. If you type the text in here first, and then click insert hyperlink, the only thing that's different is that this text up here to display is already filled in. If I'd click that button first, this wouldn't be filled in and I could type it in there ahead or after the fact. Now in here I can enter in a web address, or I can do some browsing, or I can click to different places. Right, so I'm going to just go to my web page, and I believe we have to put the HTTP in here, and I've got some stuff already going in there. So I have to put the HTTP : backslash, or regular slash, and then the address that you want to go to, and click on OK. And now that gets turned in, because we turned it into a hyperlink. It's a hyperlink, and whenever you touch it, but notice out here this is just spilling over, so it's really nothing in cell B6. So in order to touch it and get to the hyperlink, you actually have to go to A6, and if you click, that'll open up a browser, and in this case go to my web page. Okay, so that worked. Now I'll get that out of the way and create another link. This time I'm going to link to a different document. Now when you're linking to documents, the risk here is if you share this worksheet with somebody else, they probably don't have access to your file system. Unless you're linking to a network drive someplace, this is only for your own personal use. So I'm going to put a link in here. Let's do it the other way this time. I'm going to go to hyperlink, and for the text to display, I'm just going to put in budget history. And I'm going to browse for different, currently I'm in this folder, but I'm going to go, and that is the folder I want, I'm sorry, budget history. Otherwise you can use these buttons to open a different folder, but I want the budget history file, so double click. And now I have a link to the budget history. Again, you have to actually be in A8 for that link to work. But there was one other feature that I forgot to demonstrate, so in the process here we'll do two things. I'm going to edit this hyperlink, In order to edit it, you have to right click in here and choose edit. Notice if I click in there and try to type text, doesn't work very well, because if I click on that, it launches the page. I can edit the text up here, but if I actually want to edit the hyperlink itself, I have to somehow get into cell A8. Now there's a couple ways to do that. You can right click in there, or you can navigate using the keyboard. Once you're in there, you can either click the hyperlink button again, and that'll take you back here, or you can right click and choose edit the hyperlink. Maybe. Must not have sensed that as a hype, but notice it went, I accidentally left clicked, and noticed it went to the worksheet, so that worked well. But I want to edit this, so I right click it and choose edit the hyperlink. One of the other things you can do is let people know sometimes your link itself is not very clear where it goes. You can add a screen tip to it, so I'm going to show you how to do that. In the screen tip, you can type whatever you want. Click here to see our budget history. Now, whenever I rest on this, it shows me that screen tip. So those come in very handy. Those are pretty common when you're building web pages. Most links have some kind of an extra help system in them, or an extra help tip to let you know where it goes. And we already saw if I click on this, it opens the file. So there's my budget data file. Notice this one didn't warn me, even though it has links. That's because I removed all the linking data from this in the last recording. This is all just data. Okay, so we can link to another worksheet. It doesn't have to be a worksheet. It can be a Word document. It can be a PowerPoint presentation. It can be anything, right? As long as you can find it in your file system. The other thing you can do is create links to sheets, to worksheets. So one of the things I can do in here is type in January and then use the fill, the autofill, to fill in all the months. Stop at December. Increase my column A a little bit so those fit better, and then we can create links to the sheet. So let's use August as an example. I want to turn this into a link, so once again I turned it into a hyperlink, but this time instead of to a web page or to a document, I'm going to jump to a place in this document, and notice all of my worksheets are already listed here. So I can just click on one of those and say that's where I want you to go. I could have put a screen tip on that one as well, but I'm just going to come over here and click on it, and notice that it takes me to the August sheet. And you can do the same thing for all the other months. Just wanted to show you the autofill, remind you about that. We do one more just for grins. April, I can right click and kind of insert a hyperlink here. No, in many places, yep, there it is. Hyperlink by right clicking, and a place in this document I want to go to April. And now that one's got a link. If I just click on it, it takes me to the April sheet. So if you've got a lot of sheets, that can be a pretty quick way to jump. Remember, a lot of times the scroll bar is bigger so you can't see all your sheets. And if I want to jump to the August sheet, it's much easier just to click here than it is necessary to scroll down here. It still takes me to August. So that's how you create links to sheets. The final thing you can create a link to is to ranges of cells. So just as a demonstration, I'm going to go to the December budget here, and I'm going to select this data, and I want to create a link that goes to the December data. In order to link to a range of cells, you first have to name that range. We haven't done this yet. That happens in the next unit. To name this range of cells, you simply select it, and then up here in the address bar, the name box, you enter the name. So I'm going to enter December data for my name. Press enter, and now this range has a name. And if I go back to the documentation sheet, in here just for grins, or let's put it down here, I can say show me the December data, turn that into a hyperlink, December data, and I want to go to a place in this document, but it's not a sheet. But if I scroll up, or excuse me, down, here are the defined range names. There's December data. And click on OK. Now before I use that, I'm going to resize my scroll bar here so I can jump around a little faster. I'm going to go back to December, and I'm going to select A1 so that that range is not selected. When you use a link to go to a range of cells, it automatically jumps to that worksheet wherever that range is and selects that range of data. So when I click on December data, it's going to go to the December sheet, and even though I had A1 selected in December, it selected that range of data. So you can link to a range of data. That's not something I've done a lot of. I don't have a whole lot of big worksheets, but that is something you can do if it meets your needs. So this is another way to link worksheets together, not to create formulas, but simply to allow you to jump between workbooks, between Excel and other programs like PowerPoint to websites, and within a worksheet, within a workbook, allow you to jump between worksheets.